I did not really, I did not really followed any formal pattern here, but I have some topics, some opinions, some ideas, some concepts to share from my life here. That from design management to sustainability, reality, um, my career journey, how the market dynamics work around it, and how I landed myself a job, how the studies went, how the perspective developed for me. So yeah, I hope that I can contribute a bit of valuable idea to your careers. So this is a little bit of content that I'm gonna cover up that I will be describing about who I am, then the sustainability concept in itself, that as what we learn in the education versus what is happening in the industry. Then I'm also bringing here a couple of case study examples. As you can see here, they're written. Example number one is about the electric vehicle market. Then the another one is the pizza company next to your corner, using the olive oil as the commodity. I want to talk about the olive oil in that sense and my current role at my current company. Then I want to talk about the connection and the bridge between the design management as the ESG enablement that I'm doing at my company. And also I will briefly explain about the ESG, that ESG is environmental social governance. It's a modern term developed by the UN, is encompassing all the frameworks of the sustainability across the supply chain, across the business verticals in the industry. Then I also want to talk a little bit about the service design, that it has played a core competency for me in my career, and some final takeaway if they are interesting for you guys. So yeah, a little bit about myself. That my name is Yash. I'm from India, from north of India. I already did a bachelor's of business administration with a major in finance and marketing, which is exactly the reason why I always deeply connected with Jorge than any other person. And we had this instinct about like thinking things in a commercial perspective and then evaluating them. So that's why I had a great attunement with the Jorge during our time. And then I studied the design management. I had this great opportunity to be in the design school of Luzern. Really great time, really great 4 years of my life. I mean, program is 3 years. I started in the business school in the beginning, so that's why it counts. 4 years in Switzerland for me, and yeah, I'm still visiting Switzerland. I'm still in Zurich, every now and then, um, and then I'm currently working in Munich. The area where my company is engaged is the sustainability compliances. So my company actually helps the other industry players or the other companies to comply with the sustainability criteria across their supply chain reporting, which is a very important topic in the EU and I guess across the whole Europe, including Switzerland. So we have every country, or I should be talking like EU as in one, and then we have Switzerland and we have Norway. So they have their regulatory frameworks about supply chain sustainability. Their businesses needs to comply through them, and a company like Integrity Next enables the companies to report upon their supply chain and bring transparency across the supply chain, create value in a more cleaner and in a more ecological manner. Yeah, I'm a proud SPB customer getting harassed by Deutsche Bahn, and my life is pretty much around in Germany based upon that metaphor. I wrote this line, yeah, because Switzerland did a really great job of integrating me into Swissness, and yeah, I do speak Swiss German. I do firstly, then I am now learning to properly speak German, and trust me, it is terrible, and I'm not even Swiss, but I'm still facing that all that that does not go away, and then the melody is like still killing me, and the Germans have a hard time listening to me, and there's a lot of differences, and it never works out here. The
That's
things are
something
not
to
really.
be proud of, huh?
Yeah, actually, I mean, like when I when I like to have things in a very clear and structural manner, then people say that I'm disciplined. I say I'm not. It's just something from Switzerland I gained. And the chaos in Germany is like very horrendous. I don't know if anyone in class over there is from Germany. Just don't hate me, but it is like this. Then yeah, I also actually met my wife. Those days she was my girlfriend. So I first met her on the Hofbahnhof. It's where the Informatik and the Technik Hochschule is, right? So it's where the Technik Hochschule or the
Yeah, yeah,
Informatik Schule is.
that's the
Yeah.
TU Technik und Architektur.
Yeah, like when all the international people come in, then the school organizes a nice orientation day. So that's where it happened, and then there she was, and she was totally lost her way. She never traveled with the train. She never knew that the trains work so great, and she got out of the train, and then she was on the Bahnhof, and then she was looking her way. Then I showed her like where it is, and this is where I got her. Yeah, and yeah, I love mountains. I love mountains. I love my time in Switzerland. And I of course I did against the part where I was supposed not to be doing it. Like I went on the mountains alone many times because of course like there was not so many people having so much interest into hiking, and it was like actually a day when the class from Lydia got cancelled early. So then I took that day. I woke up at the 6 o'clock anyway. So I just took the train, but instead of coming to Luzern, I went to Appenzell and I did a hiking, and I fell down nearly in the snow time. I tried to hike the the summer hiking way, which was blocked, but I still did it, and it was the most stupidest thing. So yeah, I do suggest that please don't do that to all the foreign students. Swiss people wouldn't do it because otherwise you would be known as the typisch Tourist, you know. And the biggest line here is a huge thanks for Jorge, for everything in my whole time at the DMI, because um, there happened like a lot of things I need to mention, that like my whole career got evolved, you know. And when you are on this journey, then you look for right skills, right mindset, right guidance, right advices. Jorge has played that essential role for me. He provided that guidance to me at every single corner. He mentored me. He was also officially mentor to me in my bachelor thesis, but apart from that, it was a great help. I landed with his help. I landed my internship as well, um, at the ABB. So really, to you, Jorge, thank you so much.
Glad to see that it was for a good cause.
Yeah, it helped. It really helped me a lot. Yeah. Yeah, so it moves forward for me like studying in Switzerland as it started, and there what I saw is that for foreign students, like when we come into an abroad or in a foreign country, in the host country, there the biggest challenge is that your expectations actually get challenged. You expect that you will be in a newer situation, and then you learn the newness is in a very fragile manner. Definitely in Switzerland, apart from the Swiss beauty, what I saw is that there were difficult challenges across the time. So as a student, you want to grace up your career, and for that you need some skill sets. You need some jobs. You need some learning and training, and that was like a bit difficult for me when the situation. I should be saying that the situation was like this: that I'm a foreign student, I'm a non-European foreign student, so for me, it is constricted to only follow a full-time study program, meaning I was not allowed to work more than 15 hours. So, not allowed to work more than 15 hours is a case where no one wants to have you as a part-time employee, because the companies have the tenure longer than that. So we are not allowed to do that flexible manner of the programs where you can extend it to the another one more semester. You can work more, and also like I also had that time that when the exams became tough, then the colleagues around me, the Swiss colleagues, they could just simply like shut down to work anymore. They moved back to their parents. They gave up their apartments, rental apartments, and then they could continue. But I had the Switzerland is definitely very expensive. You need to afford yourself. So I need to continue working. So I was working in the restaurant those days, and I needed to carry on. And then what I saw is that bachelor is also not at all really sufficient for your career. I mean, many of my colleagues in Switzerland who are still based, and also other origin colleagues, they all are pursuing further studies. I myself, I am a second bachelor student, so like I did two bachelors. It's very important that in Switzerland that you do your studies. What I learned is that funnily, like there are, in my opinion, there are three things in Switzerland. Um, like before you're born, you really need to have like 1 year earlier registration for being in the Fußballclub Zürich. Then your insurance, health insurance, should also be planned before you're born. And yeah, you should be born with 10 years of work experience, with 2 gold medals in your internship, with enormous amount of skills. So, and I literally failed at that. So
that's
yeah.
the humor of Yash.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have it. I was like in the restaurant. What shall I talk over there? Like, how am I doing the spedition and the logistics? Yeah, my logistics are like limited towards bringing the food from the kitchen to the table of the
Yeah,
person. Like, this
but
is
you
where
moved
my
on. You moved on, and you took off
yeah.
something bigger afterwards, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I mean, then the thing over there, like briefly after the studies, what was important for me was the ABB. I got a really great opportunity to work at the ABB, where exactly what I mentioned previously about Jorge is that I got the project management internship, and there I could work upon the production line to optimize their production quality, that how often how less mistakes are happening. So your job is to reduce the turbulence in that. So it was a really important essential skill in the project management, that you reduce the delinquencies, you reduce the mistakes, you make it more accurate. So kind of like you you Swissify it. I call it a very important thing. Then moving forward in my life, what happened is that then definitely then after finishing the studies, like I had the challenge of the job search. I applied more than 400 applications. Trust me. I mean, everyone liked me, but very few wanted to have me. That's the point. And this is not actually like a personal critique upon someone or any company, but the situation was very difficult because when you are not from the STEM and from the unique skill sets, then it becomes very difficult for a non-European international student to get a job in Switzerland. It's a very stiff competition as well, because then the employment exchange sends the rejection with 5 suggestions from the Hochschule Sangala, which is the best business school, to the employer who is trying. So certain type of things happen actually, but then it's purely about the grit. It's purely about you, how bad do you want it, I would say. And that's where it came to my mind, or through an advice, that why not I go to Germany and apply for the job. Apart from my personal life story, what I can tell you here is that what I learned when you for the maybe the third year guys here, if there are any, is that what is important is that as an international student, or even like as a Swiss, wanting to go up in the career ladder, that local language proficiency is a must. It's non-negotiable here in the Europe, because the more integrated with the language you are, the more opportunities you have to build your contacts, to liaise with the people, to build your rapport, and also to perform really well at the job, because then you are able to capture a lot of the tasks and activities, because um, Europe is having their own silos of languages as their means of communication in every place. And Switzerland is a 4 language multilingual country, so this is where it is really really great. But if you, for example, if you want to be in Germany, honestly, apart from the IT coding people, everyone is highly recommended to learn German, because without that you are limited of your opportunities. So you increase your chances of success by increasing all of your probabilities, the how many square
Yeah.
pegs you can fill in.
But you had an advantage because you already spoke Swiss German, which is an access to the High German, right?
That is, yeah. By the way, that's a thing. Maybe we can
What
stop the recording and
what
we
are
can
the
take
skills were important for this?
the skills which are important for Swiss German. Actually, it's very
No,
easy.
no, no, no. For besides language, what else do you need?
Um, you need to understand that every country has its own constellation of industry skills demanding. For example, as I mentioned about the Switzerland, so in Switzerland, the education is praised a lot, and you need to have the certifications and the skills. So Germany also has its own ways of demands. They have a more production and engineering driven economy. So over there, the best possibility for you is to have more project management, more product development, more hands-on, more manufacturing-focused skill sets. So the more you can support the production engineering-driven economy, the better chances you have for Germany. For Switzerland, I have seen that the Switzerland has, in my idea, a lot of different variety of positions available. So in a company, you can have a lot of different departments ranging from HR, production, product offering, sales, consultancy, to marketing and legal and so on, where it gets reduced in Germany. And in Germany, the departments are like production focused, and then there is a sales focused, and then there will be a hiring manager. That's it. More is not really required. Then in the sales, you go in the partner sales and so on. So it's a difference of the market. You need to realize that what is demanded in the market, you take that. But what I can tell you is that if you can acquire any IT skill sets, that enables you to learn any software. For example, if you get any great internship, I highly recommend yearning for it, striving for it. Once you get it, you will definitely be exposed to any software which the company is using it. Please master that. For example, like AWS, SAP, any CRM softwares, or these softwares like Copilot, or the, how is that one, the Microsoft, uh, the data software.
Access.
No, the this big data, or how is it called, that it like a CRM, it is, or it's a data processing
It's okay.
software.
Jump it.
Yeah, so you find those softwares and then you learn those skills. They are very important, because the masters, the operators of those softwares is what makes the job very smooth. And yeah, that thing which really helped me. So in the ABB, I learned about the project management, and now at my current role, I'm having like the CRM expertise and the data management across the different softwares in the company. Of course, they are private. I cannot name them, but this is where it is very important for the people to gain the experience, and you should be trying for having great internships, because one great thing with the Switzerland is that Switzerland has headquarters of a lot of MNCs. So for sure you can find a lot of great jobs. For sure you can find a lot of great internships. And once you have them,
MNCs are multinational corporations, just for
yeah,
Hmm?
yeah, all the big corporations across the globe have their headquarters in Switzerland, in Zurich, in Bern, in Lausanne as well, in Basel as well. So yeah, hunt for it. So now it becomes a bit interesting, I would say. This is the point where I learned the difference. I was watching this topic in the chairs where you guys are sitting today, and this was a very novel, very very ideal concept. And then when I moved to the industry, then I learned different perspective about it. So it's very great to have, and it's a very idealistic, it's a very systemic thing. But the problem in the industry is that it is very limited and influenced by the geopolitical and very commercial aspects. There are like there are like environment around here in the industry. It influences the sustainability into a forcible dialogue. Like people think about it like either I want to get rid of it, or what is the cheapest way to get through it and then get further. So it becomes unfortunately conditional in the business. However, what I've also learned is, so sustainability is always going to be integrated into the business practices. It is always in the back of the mind. It is always there. It can be delayed, but it will never be completely taken away from the market.
How is that done?
So, sorry?
How is that done? How do you bring that sustainability into the business so that it stays there, given all the constraints that you mentioned?
Yeah. So in the reality, what is happening actually in the Europe is that we have these regulatory bodies. We have them, and the society around is very much aware about it. That we want to reduce our carbon footprint. We want to reduce our emissions stamp on the environment, on the ecology. The business processes have been moving forward towards it. That they would like to go towards more cleaner processes. They would like to go towards sustainable approaches, like not doing human exploitation in the labor market, not doing any laundry across the governance in their structures, having everything transparent, and not producing something without any hindsight that what repercussions it would cause. Maybe I've talked like too much unrealistic, but the companies are now driven to purely try to make cleaner products, and it's very important that the jobs that you have, it's that they should be including the systemic thinking, that what is the consequence, what is the end result out of it. This is where the system thinking is also important.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. But how does it really happen then? So you say the products are more sustainable, the
Yeah.
practices are becoming. How does that
Yeah.
happen? Do you have like a
Yeah.
visionary that pulls it, or do you have just the laws that clobber
Um,
you? How do you do it?
yeah. In my real idea is that the laws are enforcing it. So we in the Europe, we pretty much everyone, we follow a law enforcement. We follow a framework, a structure, a system which is given to us by the higher authorities, and then we try to move our lives through it. Companies are following those frameworks. Companies are deciding, okay, now we would like to do things in a sustainable manner, and we would like to produce from now on the products in a more cleaner way. We would like to have lesser carbon footprint through our products, through our supply chains. So not only just what I am producing, is also that how it is coming towards us is should be clean. It should
And who
not be
makes sure
causing
that that happens? How do you make sure that this is done?
so
You talk about we want. How do you deliver
yeah,
that?
yeah. So the thing is that right now, what I'm doing is at my company is that we are reporting upon it. So they do certain exercises, they do certain practices in their businesses, that they make sure that the people they are hiring to I mentioned about mentioning the case study of the pizza and the olive oil guy. So what is happening here is that there is a pizza delivery, and they are delivering you a really great pizza through eat.ch, but now that guy is like faced with a compliance framework, and they need to go through out their supply chain and actually check that how they can make their pizza delivery completely sustainable. Is that they need to make sure that the oil that is sprinkled upon it is coming in a very sustainable process. So they're gonna go directly straight back to the very point where it all starts, is to the farmer of the olive trees. So that guy would go into the region of Chianti. He would check like how the olives are been farmed, and they want to make sure that there are no pesticides, there are no chemicals are been used. It is completely bio, and then for that complete frame, complete practice, they would like to frame it into a record. They would like to make everything accountable, and then they want to transfer those accounts to accounts to per further parties to verify that the farming of the olive was done in a certain graded manner. I mean, Switzerland and Germany are very much quality-driven countries. There, you see that there is always a stamp of like Swiss quality. So how it happens is that you need to get approval of the production of a certain good that it is meeting the Swiss quality standard criteria. This is also pretty much done in Germany. It's just not that fancy, and of course, it is also not that great as Swiss. But yeah, they also need to meet the quality standards here. That it is done. It is farmed at a certain date. It is packed at a certain date. It is kept in certain conditions, and then it will be transported in a certain atmosphere, which will be keeping it healthier. And then eventually, it will be arriving at a pressing state, or how is it called? The production unit where the oil will be retrieved, the mill,
Mills, yeah.
the mills, and then from there on the oil will be contained in a certain way. It will be kept for a longer time, and there will be a grading about the grading about the how strong the taste is, or how aromatic it is, how fruity it is, and so on. So then they bifurcate that for every single thing, the way how they do it, how clean their production facilities are, how much time that they carry across their process steps, and how much the shelf timing they are doing between every single step for their semi-produced product or semi-finished product across the chain, and until the final point that where the oil will be supplied in the bottles, and the bottles will be transmitted, and how they will be transmitted to Switzerland, how they will arrive here, how we will get them, and how the person is also keeping it into his cellar, and how they are using it. So at every process point, there is a stamping, there is a accountability, or responsibility has been enforced, where they want to make sure that this oil which we are getting on the pizza is sustainable. It's sustainably coming. It's not causing any harm to the environment, neither to a person nor to any another animal. It is not causing any bribery, any theft. The guy in the Italy, he's not doing any money laundering in his books, hopefully, and that's how we would like to run a sustainable business. So it is, in my eyes, it has been implemented into the market. The sustainability has been brought into the market with the means of control and the monitoring, and then of course the how's it called, into the
The reporting.
legal frameworks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
So the implementation. So this
yeah,
sounds quite complex, right? So you have
yeah,
at every stage, you have some kind of certification, which
yeah,
requires people that do that, right? The
yeah, yeah,
manufacturers themselves cannot certify themselves, right? The pizza cannot certify themselves. They have to have somebody from the outside. So
yeah,
this becomes quite complex and very, very heavy.
yeah.
And from what you say, it's not driven by a vision of
No,
sustainability or stuff in the individual businesses. It's
no,
coming from outside. It's a coercion, right? That you have to stick
yeah,
to these standards, otherwise your business will be shut down,
yeah.
or
It
you will
is.
have some kind of penalty, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, the problem right now is, for example, we have this recent voting, right, in the Switzerland about the how's it called, the Erbstier,
Yeah, the
the inheritance tax. Sorry.
tax. Yeah,
Yeah. So the now it is rejected, right? The idea was that the tax which will be collected will be channelized into the sustainable practices, isn't it?
it's a suggestion. Yeah,
Yeah. So the idea is that now you can see that the repercussion of this is, or the consequences of this is that it would be, if it would be on a person who is just having a regular family house, and for which he has worked his whole life, and he has paid the financing for the house and so on, and then eventually now in his old age he's having the house, and now if the children gets it, then they need to pay this tax, which will be like higher. So that would kill a middle class family in economic term. Whereas so the idea is also this, like sustainability is actually a good idea, but how practical we can make for the businesses, because the businesses gets a hard bounce once their businesses starts making loss. For example, I don't know if you guys know about it, but Audi and Mercedes, and the Porsche, by the way, the Porsche is terrible right now, and they have never done so much losses like the way how they are doing currently. And Mercedes decided to do everything electric, and now they are realizing that it is not going to work out, because Chinese market has taken over with cheaper production costs compared to all plastic Volkswagen either models, which are just so expensive. So why someone wants to buy a very expensive car which is not at all going to give even like good enough range, you know? So there the company started making loss, and eventually Volkswagen needed to close the whole plant. Mercedes needed to fire a lot of people. There's a big scandal going on, like Mercedes is laying off management and the leadership positions with the 500,000 euros in the servants' pay. Now tell me that how is it helping the society? So the management did a terrible mistake. The executionary people are suffering through it, and they are being paid for it. This servants' pay concept is already a 5 billion euro worth concept. So company is now bleeding money as well for that. And this is where the sustainability was ideally correct, but it was not plausible. It was not practical for the commercial perspective. Same happened with the Audi. Audi needs to change now complete product line. Why? Because they decided like we would like to do the A2, like the odd numbers in the fuel based cars, and the even number cars in the electric vehicles. So all the Audi A4s, 6, and the 8s will be the electric, and the 5, 7, and 3 would be the fuel based cars. So, but now it is not going to work out because the company made terrible failure over there. Because Volkswagen Group had two companies making loss: the Audi, Volkswagen itself. Now the Audi also needs to follow that loss as well. So you know,
what you're saying is that basically this idea of doing sustainability can pose a substantial risk, can even kill the company, right? In an attempt.
if it is not well thought.
Yeah.
If it is not well thought. The thing is, we need to look towards having cleaner fuels. For example, right now BMW is doing great in the stock market because BMW worked a lot with the hydrogen fuel cells. It's a more cleaner type of fuel for those who don't know it, and this is a type of fuel which can be used if the technology will develop further in the existing engines. So they need to like do some modification, but it can help out. The point is that how much innovation costs does it take to bring the cleaner ideas to the road and to make it visible to the people? Another thing, I don't like it from the world that always the innovations are very expensive. You know, like, so that's a sad part, that it is not accessible to the people who are needing it the most, because they are the ones who are causing with their old outdated products more carbon footprint. You cannot just simply go around and then change everyone's products.
Yes. So basically we have here an industry that is doing things on own initiative.
Yeah.
Right. Versus some others. I mean, you mentioned the pizza. The pizza's not doing things on own initiative. It's because of the legal requirement.
Yeah.
And here in the automobile industry, we don't have that requirement yet. That would make the playing field a bit even for everybody. So it's individual companies taking personal risk on this, right? Managers personal risk. So the institutions driving the change, not the government or the authorities, right?
Yeah. I mean, also another thing is right now that when I have a call with a customer or a potential customer, then they talk to me with the idea that how much they can avoid me, meaning my product is that it enables them to comply with the frameworks, because now this product costs them some money, so they want to know that if the regulations gets delayed a bit, they would like to avoid it. They don't want to buy the software today because this would save them for their bookkeeping one another year from unnecessary cost. There are in the ESG there are several frameworks which are called CBAM, which is carbon border carbon emission border adjustments measure. Then there's the UDR, which is the European Union's deforestation regulation. Then there is there is a conflict mineral. So conflict mineral is like what related to the EV batteries. The conflict mineral is that the minerals which are causing a lot of damage, the radioactive harm to the society, and also to the social part of the ESG for the labor. Then there are several different frameworks. Now every of these frameworks are getting delayed by the EU in the Belgium. Why? Because it is turning out to be impossible to their first set deadline. So they came up with a deadline last year that they wanted to finish up already by this year with full-fledged implementation of these frameworks. Companies needs to comply with all of these frameworks. Now what happened is that they realized that CBAM is not really easy to do because they need to measure the carbon. Now the carbon measurement, when you start doing in a weightage, in a physical weight, then it becomes very difficult for the companies. Companies don't have resources. They don't know where to start. They don't have the departments organized for it. Like I told you, Germans are having the production and the sales team only. So now they also need to hire a sustainability team. And this is where like also the companies like PwC and the Ernst & Young, they come into the play, and they say you can hire our services to do the sustainability. We would do it for you. And then that is also expensive. Then comes the people like me who are wanting to sell the product, standalone service. Then would you like to take that? So people don't know where to start. It becomes very difficult then for the companies. They want to avoid these costs at the end.
Yeah, this is new land. Nobody has the structures. Nobody has the manpower, the knowledge to do that, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned one thing before that you need to measure everything. You need to evaluate everything. You need to certify everything. This is information. This is data. So data management is becoming really important.
Very important.
And it's no longer the data in a company. It's data in a whole system. Like you mentioned before, supply chain. The entire supply chain needs to be integrated data-wise, right?
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like, these are enormous amount of Excel tables with all sorts of those things activated, which creates the Excel more terrible. I could never do my assignment properly for that, by the way. But because of those Excel tables, it's very difficult. They don't know where to start to fill up all of those accounts and the certifications, and the certifications also has their expiry date and so on. Like right now, my advice to everyone would be is to, like the scholars over there would be, is to gain the sustainability expertise into the verticals, because that will going to bring you to a competitive edge where the company will see, like, if I have this person, he is specialized into that area, he would be far more cheaper for me from going and hiring the PwC services, because PwC services are going to cut their throats for next 5 years straight in a contract.
So you have experts doing that.
Yeah.
Do you have a suggestion how to bring design management into it?
Yeah. So design management for me, how it works. I wrote a little line about it.
Oh, that's great. Show it.
So design management as an ESG enabler. So in this discussion, that how that I'm enabling is that I see that there is a design management bridges the gap. So I had this really great module which was circular economy. This is where I actually learned about checking the compliance of the product that we all were given, like some products, some companies, some industry, we needed to find their products, the companies, and then check like which product is sustainable. So as a design manager, you are enabled to to do this licensing between the commercial and the sustainable realities, and enable the company to to transition upon a more cleaner platform than the present one.
So it's a need to use a term I don't really like. It's really a bridging function where you try to bring two different mindsets, two different worlds, two different expertises together. More, depending on
we bring synergy here. We are not in the direct design management may not be the direct. It is not direct applied skill set, but it is the skill set which is required essentially into different functions to build synergy, and then enabling the sustainability frameworks in a commercial setup, because commercial setup is built very traditionally. Companies are not really hyper qualified, and having the people working like from many old years, I would say.
So this is where these companies interpreting what you are saying, they are on a learning curve. They're trying to learn how to do these things, etc. So maybe design management can also help, I don't know, formalize or make this a bit more doable, the process of getting this learning, walking through the learning curve.
Yeah, exactly. Because the days when I finished my studies, I remember from those days, from in the sustainability topic, the famous term was the UN SDGs. I remember this, the 14, right? 14 goals there. We also did the project about
17.
it. 17, sorry. So from there, it changed now to the ESG. So you can see that the landscape of the sustainability is also evolving slowly. And I have checked recently. Those days I did my internship in the ABB. My team lead had no idea about the design management and anything and the sustainability. But now that the Swiss companies are also required to comply on the sustainable frameworks, that guy being the team lead of the process optimization, he learned the sustainability and the design thinking in certifications. And not only him, I have seen many profiles of experts and professionals who are needing to do. Companies are investing upon supplementary education for the people to learn the design management skills, the design thinking, the system thinking, and the service design in conjunction with the sustainability. Because they realize that the sustainability is not at all one product, one topic, one area, one person's job. Even for myself, today when I go in the market and I pitch my product, my audience is not only just one user, one persona. It is having the personas of multiple roles, such as supply chain manager, procurement guy in the spedition warehouse. Then there is a legal guy who is doing the compliance. Then there is the financial guy as well, so the CFO of the company, because at the end he needs to approve the budget. So now you see, it's a role, it's a thing which is important for the companies. They are bound to do it, but still so many people need to approve for it. So many people are brought together to work together to achieve this criteria.
So you have this not only interdisciplinary in terms of the knowledge and the expertise, but also the functions in the organization need to be aligned.
Yeah.
So it's not, sustainability is not the responsibility, I don't know, of marketing or production, but it's the responsibility of everybody.
Yeah,
right?
It
That's
is.
the only way in which this can really then at the end work.
Yeah. I need to say, like, I had a very unique role when I entered the job market, because of course my job is traditionally called sales, but over there I am working with the service design ethics, with the design management ethics, because there my job is focused upon talking about that what value is the person is going to get out of it. And we had those days, a term I would like to talk about is pain point. It was the term I learned actually from Guillermina. that we want to focus upon the pain point. So my job is to understand that how painful it is. How painful is the pain point? And the solution which I have in my basket, is it really gonna solve it or not? That's the perspective like no other sales guy in my team has actually. They wanna make their numbers. They wanna go hedonistic with their targets and earn their commission at the end. Another thing is that we need to really check in the sales. It is also important that we need to check the interest frequency, because I can showcase my product that how cool it is, but if the person is really gonna buy it, that I need to know. Otherwise, I'm wasting my resources and my company's time. So this is where, for me, service design becomes really essential. That I spend time more with my prospects, the potential customers. That's industry term, prospect. So with the prospects, to understand their real need analysis, because then they're there to tell me that they are currently trying to do everything on their own. They are trying to do the manual bookkeeping about the emissions and the certifications. They are trying to keep up with the standards and quality matrix on their own, but they don't know, their path is not really articulated. It's very chaotic. It's not really done properly. There I bring my ideology, then I try to help them that this is what my solution can potentially provide you doing, and together we can achieve success into this.
So you have brought a lot of the things that you saw at DMI into your job.
Yeah.
And my question to you, because you said at the beginning also, these companies and these managers don't understand design management.
Oh yeah.
This and so forth. How did you go about bringing it into your job, this design management part?
Yeah. I mean, it goes in a very subtle way, and it also goes in a very direct way. It becomes subtle for me that this is how I operate. I mean, if you the way how, I mean, how to say, like the way how I approach to a task and to these discussions is, for me, user focus. As like it was also those, it's a concept of those days, they get ingrained into you. They are subtly in my approach of operating. Directly it becomes then when I say no, we cannot, when I need to provide the feedback upon the market to my boss, and then I tell, no, we cannot sell this product to the market. Why? Because there is no demand for this. Because the people whom I'm talking with, that they are talking more differently than anything than what we are wanting to sell them. Another thing is that in my job that I am responsible for Nordics, for like the Nordic region, for the Scandinavia. I'm responsible for the Benelux. I'm responsible for the east of the Europe and the south of the Europe. I'm also responsible for the south of the south of Europe, I said. So in this whole geography, the discussion changes its pattern. So with the Nordic or the Scandinavian people, you talk very direct. You talk very simple. You talk very clean. With the German people, you talk very clean, very straight to the point. That this is what I'm talking about, and I would like to understand that if we can support you into the sustainability initiative, I have my product here. Maybe it can help you. The idea becomes very clear that if we can have a consultative round. So the idea I need to have that how I'm going to operate with German and with the Nordic guy. So now north of Europe is a more direct of a persona to communicate, versus south of Europe you need to build more rapport. You need to waste time more talking about the sun and the time in the beach and the football.
Yeah.
That how, and then eventually you come to the point to discuss the business. You like it. It is a very very design driven business communication.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting what you say, because you have here your main tool to do design management seems to be you.
Yeah.
The way in which you were formed through your training into your new way of thinking.
Yeah.
After, I mean, in comparison to before you did DMI, right? So new way of thinking, new way of approaching things, courage to do some things which maybe previously you would not have done. So it's developing you as a tool to do the design management.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is then that I hear from you is, the experience of going into, for instance, all these different geographies, and letting yourself see and understand what they are about, so you can adapt to what you have to do there, and still keep your the competencies that you bring with you, bring them into that place. It's quite interesting, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, really, you talk to a guy from Norway, totally different culture, totally different perspective than how the German even think. Then you talk into Germany, totally different perspective. You talk in Switzerland, entirely different. You talk in the France, I don't come forward. then I go into Italy.
Special. The French are very special.
They are very.
Can I open the floor now to questions from the public, or do you still have something you want to show?
Just a quick takeaway, maybe I would say, is that it really, design management is a very crucial skill, and what helped me was the service design. It was really helpful for me, and yeah, I would say for all the foreign students over there that you can always improvise later, but do the initiative, take the initiative, execute more, and the more you wait, the harder you did. That's the thing. So it will always gonna yield to you something. The more actions you take in your bag, and then the rejections you face, it's gonna help you.
You went through that valley of tears. I know you're smiling here on the screen. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, any questions from the public? You have to raise your hand so I can jog to you and pass the mic.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Lena, and I am currently working or having an internship also as a sustainability intern at Medtronic. And there we are basically doing what we were talking about. And I was wondering, for the future of me at the company, but also potentially at other companies, we were touching upon the value of certificates in the area of compliance with regulations and such. Do you have a specific certificate that you can recommend that I could pursue? Or is there also a master's that goes into the direction of that?
Yeah. My first question is to you, is that, are you specifically targeting Switzerland?
No, we are responsible for Western Europe.
For the Western Europe, so it is typically the EU, and from EU, yeah, I can write here. There's a you can check this certificate from EU. I wrote it into the chat. Please check that. Then there are certain government bodies providing the certifications. If you can do the certifications over there, they would be helpful to you. They would enable you. The thing with the certification is that these are the specializations, tools that will help you vouch for your skill set and your expertise in the sustainability area to gather the job. The job might differ at every different place where you are going to apply. Like maybe one company will ask you for for carbon management, another will ask you for the deforestation, third one will make you a legal counsel for the whole compliance. But having these skill sets is definitely a plus point for you. So yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you, Lena.
Other questions? Guillermina wants to talk to you.
Hello, Yash.
Hi, Guillermina.
I'm a student in the first year. What makes it difficult to comply with regulations? And you can take one example. So now you were talking about deforestation.
Yeah.
Take one product, one example. Why is it so difficult, and why they are painful?
Okay. Yeah, good
perspective.
Yeah, it's actually a good question. I mean, with the regulations to comply, I need to say that right now the compliance is not only just difficult, it is also very inaccurate. So right now the compliances are asking the bigger companies who are earning more than 100 million and having more than 100 people working for them. So you can see that the small business houses are left unaddressed from this compliance framework. what happens here is that those small houses are doing the businesses the way how they want. Then there are people like who are creating tires by getting the rubber from different places, how they are getting the rubber, and how they are disposing the old tires. It's completely left unaccounted, you know. So these are small business houses are doing inaccurate things, and they are not been accountable. They are not been charged accountable. That's inaccuracy in the compliance framework in itself. Second thing is that the supply chain is not that as organized, structured corporately as a bigger company would have its supply chain. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a car freak. I can always go back to the car examples, but you know that there is a company on the Bodensee which is called the ZF. It is a company which produced the differential and the all-wheel drive system for the Audi. So the Audi or the Volkswagen Group can refer to them, but where the metal is coming from, it comes from a ore, it comes from a mine, and there in that mine the work is not going that corporately organized. It's not really that systemic. So help asking those people to make accountancy of the complete compliance is a challenge.
So it has to do with communication.
Yeah.
It has to do with developing really partnerships with the suppliers.
Definitely.
All of them can comply and inform about the regulations together.
Yeah.
What do you think is the role of design managers there?
The design managers are required into the process creation, product management. In the product management, as in that when these processes are created, then someone needs to take the responsibility to how to communicate that further, because I mean we can always refer to the Swiss quality. So Swiss quality is like so great. I'm a huge fan of the EMI. EMI creates a lot of great milk products. Now this banana shake that we have, for example, or we can take even the muesli that we all take in the morning, that packet that they are selling. How the Swiss authorities and the EMI itself is communicating with the people that where the milk has been fetched. It needs to be made easier for the milkman. It needs to be made understandable for him, and the formula, or how is it called, the complete form or the accountability chart certification which you will give them should be perceivable. They cannot even perceive it. They cannot even understand anything. It should be comprehensive. When it is not, then that becomes a problem.
Yes, make it more intuitive, right?
Yeah,
how they use it, how they think, what level they have of understanding, right?
Yeah.
Make it then tailored to them and not tailored to the authorities.
Yeah.
Because what you
exactly
have currently, right?
Yeah, because definitely I can tell you in the EU, the reason why I also don't like being here in Germany is that in the EU everything is like written for the public information in a very, very difficult language, whereas in Switzerland without knowing the German you can understand every single thing what it's meant over there, you know, because they work upon the communication design. So communication design is a very important topic. I think that the legislative frameworks or the legislative bodies can bring to the executive bodies so that it becomes accessible for the people.
Hello, thank you for all the input so far. So
yeah.
And I'm Nick. I'm a second year design student. I'm from California.
Nice to meet you.
I think this seems really clear where you're working from, like governments down, how they're enforcing these new rules, and then you're working from the supply chain up. How are they receiving the rules? And like trying, as a design manager, you can be the bridge here, the two-way road of communication.
Yeah.
But where does the motivation to create this bridge come from? Is it you as a design manager trying to pitch the value in this bridge creation? Is it your employer seeing the value in it already, or like where does the value creation process
I think
motivation come from?
I think a question is like tilted towards a very noble direction, but the point is that it's a mental awareness for us to be all be reminded of the fact that that environment is burning up. We have higher carbon footprint. We all would like to reap it for our future generations, and so it's a more of a social responsibility we all have on our shoulders. Definitely, it motivates the companies. Then the second thing is that it should be long lasting. The businesses should be also having a long lasting product. It should be something that shall not harm other people. So it was definitely brought first with the mental awareness, with the social awareness, but then second it became is that to see that there is a profit into it. That's a sustainable, as in the business technical sustainable way. There is profit that will reap you in the long run.
Anybody else? Questions? Soon?
We can also chit chat, guys. Okay. We can also do the crowd bantering and anything. We can also talk about like Germany, how the life is.
I guess through your examples we have seen, because I remember you as being a car freak.
Yeah.
You were always talking about cars and drawing cars and showing cars. Look at this one. What do you think? Yeah. Right? So anyway, I think this would be a good point to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yash, thank you very much. Right, this has been really informative. We had actually thought of doing a sustainability discussion, but at the beginning you brought in your story, which I think is very important because it shows, how you go from a place like DMI out into the real world, right? Doing the stuff that you learned, right? Yeah. And making a difference in topics and industries that are relevant today, right? And for the future. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I hope to stay in touch in person sometime soon. Right?
Yeah,
I'd like to see
for
you.
Sure. Definitely, yeah. I would be in touch, and please, guys, if you have any question, want to reach out for any idea, any job reference or whatsoever, please feel free to communicate. I would be happy to help anytime.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yash.
Yeah. Bye bye. Cheers.